Welcome in everyone to episode 112 of Instigate Success, building an ABA franchise. I am your host, as always, Jake Schoen, aka Jakey Muffins, here with the official podcast of your Hoosier State Instigators. This week we've got a doubleheader coming up. We'll jump into that here in a little bit. We've got a big theme night going on scheduled for Sunday night. It's going to be a home game on a Sunday, so a little bit different there. But we'll definitely cover that. We're going to take a look around the league, see what happened this past week, and kind of break down some of that stuff. And preview the games for this week. But it is the first of our doubleheader weekends with the Shuckers. So these are pretty cool weekends. They are a home and away series for each of the teams, and it's obviously not something we can do a ton with a lot of teams, being that it's a home and away series. But obviously close enough there with the Shuckers to do so. And it looks like the weather forecast is extremely cold this weekend up in Indiana. That whole region. Um, and it'll be fun. I'll be flying up there in the morning, and I'll be there for the games this weekend. And hopefully it's not too cold. Um, Obviously, it's going to be a lot colder than here in Florida. But anyways, let's jump into this week. As far as what happened across the league, so we're going to take a look at the. Yes, we'll take a look at the games first, and then we'll break down some of the games with the ones that would be more so important to our team, the Instigators, and then we'll take a look at the power rankings, which had a little bit of a shakeup, and then we're going to preview again these games coming up for this weekend. Give you guys some more info. There is a giveaway actually too this weekend. So not only is it a theme night, it's Motorsports theme night. We've announced that already. If you saw, I think it was yesterday we put it out, an announcement for free posters. So the 50 first fans through the door do get an exclusive Motorsports Night poster. So that is another thing to look forward to on Sunday. But anyways, let's jump into the nitty gritty of the schedule of this past week. Let's take a look at the stats from that and the scores, um, and then obviously jump into everything from there. So let's get that pulled up. And here we go. All right, so pulling up the scores here from last week. Last week would be the first week in December. So we got the December 6th week of games here. We're going to start things off with. And we can see this on here. So looking from the top down, we've got the Buffalo Extreme, the number one team in the league, with a 156, 115 victory over Rochester. So still definitely, up there with the Buffalo Extreme. Definitely what you kind of expect with the number one team. Then we got the Legends and the Capitals. Legends, we'll be playing here later this month. Capitals still on our schedule. 115 to 105, a 10-point victory for the Legends. Legends, if you remember last week, probably pull that up here. Fairly certain. There we go. No, 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago. Yes, the Legends and the Shuckers had a very close game, a 1 point game there, with the Shuckers winning that. Obviously, that's who we're playing tomorrow. So just mentioning that. But a 10-point victory there for the Legends. And I believe that puts them back over the 500 mark. If we click this, we'll be able to see. I say that and I click the wrong thing. We click this, we will be able to see. 4-4. Okay, so that puts them back at the 500 mark. Actually, 4-4. Capitals fall to 1-8 there. Going down here, we've got the Shuckers and the Lions. A pretty handedly win there for the Lions. Take a look at the score here. So 131-82 in favor of the Lions. And no stats reported there for the Shuckers, but pretty solid efforts across the board from the Lions, it looks like. And then the big game, one of the big games of the week, top 10 ranked opponents facing off against each other in our division. The Nashville Aces took on the Ohio Kings on the road, and the Aces are ranked really high for a reason. They came across with a 167-146 victory. That keeps the Aces undefeated on the year, and the Kings fall with their first loss, now 6-1, which is crazy. If you look at that scorecard there, quarter by quarter, 56 points in the third quarter for the Aces. That really is the difference across the scorecard. If you take a look there, looking at the Aces though, they had George Stanberry with 50 points, 10 assists, so a double double there. Jamario Rivers with 30 points and 13 rebounds, 5 assists, so double double for him. Also got 25 points there from Tucker, a double double with their center Wells with the rebounds, 14 rebounds and 12 points. Um, so you got a lot of guys there again in double digits, and very good effort and showing from the Nashville Aces there. And the Kings, I mean, it's still a high scoring effort there with a double double here from Lackey, 22 and 10. Also led as far as scoring goes by Brandon Doss, 29 points. But yeah, you can see there, obviously, that is a big game when it came to the rankings, not only across the league but in the division. So that puts the Aces out in front, pretty much controlling their own fate for the time being. And then I would put the Kings number two. 402 Elite in the same region, not in our division, but 129, 122 victory there. Binghamton Bulldogs, another team that's ranked towards the top, typically, with a pretty handedly win there. Scrolling through. And then we got our game here, the Instigators and Pros, 109-100 victory. Looks like stats didn't get reported on here for that. Um, but you can see there, as far as the pros go, with a 32 point effort from Savion Nicholas. I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. Then we've also got Dominique Williams with 23, 12, 10, and 10. That's actually a quadruple double. Definitely not something you normally see. But as far as that goes, that is technically, yeah, that is a quadruple double. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 stat categories with double digits. So you got that. And yeah, so I mean, that's impressive. Shamar Overstreet, normally, somebody we see kind of leading the way for the pros there. Only 4 points, it looks like, in this past game. Still 6 assists and 6 rebounds there, though, and 2 steals. Dominique Williams, though, with 10 steals. I didn't realize that was one of the categories he has the double digits in. But yeah, so that puts us up to 2 and 3. Pros fall to 1 and 5. That's important for the division standings right there. We see the Silicon Valley Panthers, a 3-point win there, I'm sorry, 81 to 78. So that's kind of a surprising one when you look at back in the history with the Panthers, typically one of the higher teams as far as scoring goes, and yeah, but only at 80 points in that one, still with a victory though. Looking at the games on Sunday, 42 Elite with another win. Austin Bats, another team that's towards the top in the rankings, 124, 114 over Alamo City. And it looks like the Lions took the Legends into overtime with a 107-99 victory there. And that's pretty much it for across our conference. It's a division, region, whatever. But that's what we've got across the league as far as the scores go. Um, jump back over to the power rankings real quick. Then we'll take a look at the stat leaders. All right, so power rankings, this is interesting to me. They decided to do a tied number one ranking following this past week. So the Buffalo Extreme remain at number one, but they also bring up the Austin Bats tied for number one. And this is always an interesting thing when it comes to tied for a spot because it, technically, if they're tied for a spot, then that would also encompass the following spot. However, that is not how the ABA does that. So when a team is tied for the spot, the following spot is still a completely separate spot open to be ranked. And the Nashville Aces jump up to number two at 9-0 with that victory over the Ohio Kings. Obviously, that was a good victory, and that puts them up in the top company. I'm not 100% sure, if I'm being completely honest, when it comes to this, how the Austin Bats jumped up and got tied with the Buffalo Extreme there. The Buffalo Extreme had been the number one team outright, and I don't think they really wavered any. Um, so I don't know, unless they feel like the opponent or strength of schedule has increased more for the Bats over recent. But anyways, that puts the Extreme first, as well as the Bats also tied for first. Obviously, both of those are undefeated teams. Nashville Aces jumped up to number two with that big victory over the Kings. Then the Silicon Valley Panthers, they had that close game there. They go to number three. Got the Silverbacks at number four, still undefeated as well. And if you take a look and scroll down, all the way to number 10 is undefeated teams. And the only other team on there that we really have any kind of connections that I know of to would be the Steel City Yellow Jackets. They've got a couple of common opponents to our teams. I feel like Chattanooga is in Tennessee, so maybe they play some of ours as well. First team with a loss was the Las Vegas Royals at 9-1. And then, 9 wins is pretty impressive. But that would make sense as far as why they jumped up there. Windy City Inferno, that is a team we play a few times later in the season and had been a part of our division last year. They are at 7-1 with number 12 as far as their power rankings. Ohio Kings with that loss there dropped to number 15. And they also have 2 losses on the season now. So that is part of that as far as the rankings go. The Chicago Fury are actually number 17 now. So the undefeated team, champions 2 years in a row, has 2 losses now and drops all the way to 17 from the top spot over the past few weeks. The Florida Tropics still doing impressive there at number 18 with a 5-1 record. Chicago Knights, not a team in our division, but still in the same region, at number 20 at 5-2. Binghamton Bulldogs, I know I mentioned them earlier. They're at number 22 with 2 losses. 402 Elite, also 4-2, with number 24 tied power ranking with the Dover Dogs. But that's where the power rankings shifted this week. Again, I think it's kind of interesting to see the co-number ones. Again, I'm not really sure how you kind of add another number one team if the top team didn't really falter. But anyways, that's what they've got as far as the top ranking. Nashville Aces, obviously, with the big win over the Kings, makes sense why they jump up, and they're at number two. So that means the division leader in our division currently is the number two team in the whole IBA. But we'll jump over to the full standings here and break down the stats as well as far as stat leaders. And we take a look at the divisions. Steel City Yellow Jackets, as I had mentioned, one of the top teams, 7-0, leading the way in their division, the Blue Division. In ours, we've got the Nashville Aces leading the way at 8-0. How Kings shows 6-1, and I believe they are 6-1. However, on that power ranking graphic, I had them with 6-2. So I'm not 100% sure which one is the correct one, but I think it is the one loss as far as I know, unless there's another game that I cannot seem to remember. Indiana Lions jump up there. They're at 5-3 with a couple of wins this weekend. This past weekend, I should say. Indiana Legends 4-4, so they're right in that midway. Then the Phoenix are right behind them, also with a 500 record. Got ourselves there at 2-3. Obviously, wins this weekend puts us at 500 and possibly above 500. So that is what we're aiming for. The Shuckers, that is who we're playing. They're at 2-5. So clearly, they're going to have the ambition to jump up as well when it comes to these games. We also got the Louisville Pros just behind them at 1-5, and then Knoxville Commerce still looking for their first win on this season. Our previous division, we've got the Windy City Inferno leading the way at 7-1, the Chicago Fury at 5-2, followed by the Knights at 4-2, and then the rest of the teams, Rebels and the Frost, still looking for their first wins respectively on the year. The white division out in our region, 402 Elite leading the way by a few games at least at 4-2. Over in the East, we got the New England Lightning at 7-0, leading the way over the 4-5 Vermont Coyotes. Looking at the white division, we got the Buffalo Extreme and the Wyoming Valley Clutch, still undefeated on the year. Binghamton Bulldogs, 2 losses, not too far behind. Philly Thunder there at 5-3, and a couple more teams up in that region of the upstate Central New York, whatever you want to call it, region. Then we got the East Region Black Division, Long Island Strong Arm leading the way at 7-0. So they are up at the top as far as rankings go, and they're also one of the teams ranked. If we look at the red division, the Delaware Dogs, towards the end of those power rankings at 5-2, leading the way over the 96ers currently. Taking a look over in the south, or down in the south. Got in the black division, the Silverbacks leading the way at 8-0. Tri-City Takeover 5-1. Over in the blue division, Austin Bats, the number one team now, 8-0, leading the way over the Alamo City All-Star 6-2. A few more teams there with winning records. When we look at the red division in the south, and the Atlanta Defenders, Chattanooga Strike, both tied. It looks like at the top there with 7-1 records. And in the beta conference, we've got the Florida Tropics leading the way over the County Royals. 5-1 over them compared to 4-3. Out in the West, we've got in the first division, New Mexico Bull Snakes leading the way at 4-1. Then we got the Division B there, Alpha Conference, with the San Diego Mob at 8-0, leading the way over the Las Vegas Royals with 1 loss. Same with the Suns, also 1 loss there. Then we've got the San Jose market. The Wolfpack have that pretty tied up for the time being. And then we've got the other division out there out in the West with the Silicon Valley Panthers leading the way at 7-0. So that's what we've got across the league. And then we'll take a look as far as the stats go. Kenny Holmes Jr. at 44 points per game, leading the way in that. Mike Saunders for the Legends, 41.0 points per game. Assists per game, got 14 assists per game by Cameron Moore. Dominique Williams there at number 3. And if we look at rebounds per game, Pierre Walters still leading the way, 23.6. Capri Austin for the Chicago Fury, not too far behind at 19 a game. And for the pros, you got Anthony Southers, 16.5 per game. And we've also got the Aces big man, Jamario Rivers at the bottom there at 15.5 rebounds per game. Steals per game, Dominique Williams leading the way with 7.6. Believe that, obviously this week's effort helped him with that, with the 10 steals. With the 10 steals there. As far as that goes, and I think that's pretty much it for the people that we would be playing. But yeah, we got that. So that's your stat leaders across the league. And I think that actually dropped their other guy who's in the top 10 with the few steals that they did have outside of Dominique Williams. But that is across the league. Then we'll take a look here. And actually, we can take a look at the website if you haven't already seen that, so you guys can see some of the cool features we got over on the website. So one of the things is when you're on that search bar or whatever, you can do team. It brings you to not only the roster and the players, but an opportunity to review the stats there too. So like let's take the Kings one for example. You can see we do all these different categories as far as it goes with the reporting of stats. You can see so far it looks like the games that we've been playing are just between a couple of opponents there, the Ohio Kings and the Louisville Pros. This weekend, we got the 2 Shucker games. So we'll see on that. But you can see the schedule right there. And for the following week, the following week we'll have the Legends, and then we'll have the holidays off and be back against the Monstars on the 10th. But you can do this, and it's pretty cool. You can see the player scores, and kind of some of the stuff with the players on there as well. Let's say we want to look up DK, and we can also click on the player, get the whole profile on them, a little bit about themselves, and nicknames, field goals, assists, all that type of stuff that you see. But that's what you got for repairs to prove that for us to do it. And then there's also a way to do it by the player specifically. But you can get your merch and such over here on the website. Um, and then you can get your tickets on that QR code or the passage link that we've been sending out. But let's jump over to that. Right, so we got the graphic here for the games this weekend. So tomorrow is a road game. I believe that's going to be at the Crossroads Community Church in Bloomington, if I'm not mistaken. Um, is it Bedford? In Bedford, I do believe. So early morning there, and we will be playing there at late at night. Um, but that's a road game on Saturday. So tomorrow is on the road against the Shuckers. Um, then on Sunday, that'll be our home game. That is our big game. The celebrity player there, you see, Brayton Laster. We should have some cool photo opportunities. First 50 in the door with their tickets. They get exclusive posters. These posters are not going to be, as far as we know, they're not going to be sold. They are quite literally just exclusive posters for this motorsports night. So it's definitely the collector's item when it comes to um, obviously this opportunity. But I just wanted to say that as well. um, Obviously there goes that. And there might be, like I said, some cool photo opportunities. We'll definitely have interactions between our players and the fans. And I hope you guys all have an amazing time as far as the weekend goes for the game. But this is a reminder, the game is on Sunday for us, our home game in Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana. It's a home game on a Sunday at 5:30. So everything's a little bit different on that one. But just know that. So when the time comes, that's what we have. But this is going to be lots of fun. Brayton will actually be suiting up for the Instigators. He will be on the bench. He will be designated as a celebrity player. So obviously there's certain restrictions that apply when you do that. But it is extremely useful knowledge, I feel like. And it is a good thing to have and good thing to know as far as that goes. But yeah, so a motorsports night this Sunday, 5:30 p.m. at the same venue as always, Best Choice Fieldhouse for the Instigators, home games at least. And then you get that doubleheader. But this is two big games, I feel like, because obviously you've got the same opponent the next day, so you have to stay mentally sharp and prepared and physically. For the other aspect of stuff, um, I don't know. That's we'll see. We'll see. What we've got all set up. Obviously the weather is up in the air a little bit. I'm not up there, so I'm just going based off of the forecast that I see, which looks like it's going to be extremely cold, and it probably is going to snow at some point over the weekend. But obviously, as long as we can get everything cleared out and it's safe to travel, then we're going to have that game on Sunday. Brayton will actually get to check in. He'll be on the team as a celebrity player. We'll have the opportunity to actually play on the court. So that'll be a cool crossover. It's going to be lots of fun. I know everybody's kind of excited for that one, and we really looking forward to have everyone out for that game. Again, that's this Sunday, Motorsports Night, and you can go to Kevin, um, not Kevin, but yeah. Anyways, it's we'll when you come in, to Best Choice Fieldhouse, you can probably run into me there as far as Sunday night, and it's 5:30, so a little bit different as far as the tip goes. Um, so not only is it instead of Saturday, it's on Sunday. It's also a 5:30 tip. So those are your things to watch out for. Obviously when you're going to the game, buy your tickets online. You can scan that QR code though, or visit the website, and that is again that's Sunday. This Sunday at Best Choice Fieldhouse at 5:30 p.m. We will see you guys there. I definitely will, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Got some cool stuff. Again, that giveaway for the first 100, and then obviously getting to see a celebrity player is pretty cool as well. Um, then we got the game tomorrow. Again, that's on the road. But if we can win these two games, that's really important as far as the standings go, because that puts us over 500 again. Obviously, that's our goal is to be above the 500 mark, and then obviously to get into the playoffs rather than the play-ins this year. So a lot of on the line for the end of the year as far as those standings are going to go. Obviously, the Shuckers are not too far behind us, and they can actually catch up with a few wins here. So it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of bragging rights on the table as well for who represents Indiana, if it is the Hoosier State or if it's Indiana after this game. But that's what we've got coming up this weekend. It'll be a lot of fun. I hope to see everyone there. But that is again, that's really it's our big thing. It's going to be lots of fun. We put a lot of effort into this, but it is doubleheader weekend. Big weekend to jump up on the standings, or at least solidify ourselves on those standings. Um, but I think that's gonna do it for tonight's episode. I'll be flying out early in the morning, so I'm gonna probably try to get some sleep here before that does happen as far as the flight goes. But thank you as always for joining us and everyone who supports the Instigators. Again, every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. And we've been streaming here on YouTube now. You can also watch the old ones on YouTube. But thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you this weekend. And we hope that everyone travels safe, obviously, with the anticipated weather. But for everyone, have a great weekend at these games coming up. So thank you again, as always, for joining. We'll be back next week on Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Until then, hopefully I see you at the Motorsports Night. Again, the first 50 get the free poster. That by itself, I think, is worth the price of admission. You're also going to have some cool opportunities, cool, experiences, being a part of this theme night too. But anyways, that's going to be it. For tonight's episode of Instigate Success, Building an ABA Franchise, episode 112. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, as always, be great and instigate.